Hello, welcome to LTM Reviews, where I get you caught up on the oldest movies. Today's review, Mac and Me. So, Mac and Me tells the story of a little boy who has a really bad disability on a wheelchair. He moved to a new town, and then sooner or later he meets this alien who just got back, who is lost on the Earth. But then the boy finds Mac, I guess that's what he call him, and now it's up to him to stop him from the FBI and the police and try to find his parents, because it turns out the alien was separated from his parents. Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? Because if you really think about it, the movie feels like an E.T. clone. Now, Mac and Me has kind of a bit of a reputation as the worst kids movie to ever come out of the 80s, or the worst films of all time, or just one of the worst alien ripoffs that tried to cash in on E.T. Let me put it this way. Here's how I'd explain this movie. Take Coca-Cola, take Reese's Pieces or Reese Cups, take the movie E.T., add in with McDonald's, put it all in a blender, except not original and just not funny or charming, and you get something like this. Oh, and also with bad animation with the cherry on top, I guess. I don't know. So that's Mac and Me in a nutshell. I think I was not born in the 80s, but for what I could find on YouTube, there's a trailer that I think the movie was supposed to be a fundraiser from McDonald's, which I think the McDonald's crew was involved in, because there's a scene in the movie where you have the alien dancing, and then Ronald McDonald having a cameo or something like that, which I have a funny feeling, because the movie's called Mac and Me, and Mac could be a reference to the Big Mac, which I think that was invented back in the day. Because McDonald's was a big brand back at the time. So basically, of course, I feel like the way they're trying to sell this is like they're trying to sell McDonald's. So yeah. So how's the movie now? It sucks. It really, really sucks. I mean, I can't say it's the worst thing in the world, but it's just so shameless. It has little substance. I mean, first of all, the movie's ripping off E.T. We can guess that right away, but the characters, I could care less about, but I will say this. The little boy who plays the child in the wheelchair actually did have a disability, and he did actually in a wheelchair in real life, so I had to give him credit for at least trying to put up an act, and I do appreciate how hard he is trying to be in this film, but that's not saying a lot. The characters are plain, the effects are awful. The alien's a little ugly. At least in E.T. they made him more. I mean, the E.T. did have an ugly design, but at least it made it more appealing for its movements and how he acted. But here, Mac just has a really, really, really bad face expressions and a really bad design overall. It's boring. It's not funny. I barely laughed in this movie at all. The music, I guess the music's okay. I do like that song in one scene, but there's at least one or two songs I did like, but the rest is just pure awful, trying to be 80s, trying to be 90s. So this was made in the late 80s, early 90s, so of course it's going to have this type of bad music. And I could totally care less about what's going on, because the movie is just so desperate and so all over the top with the commercial stuff. Like, in one scene they're drinking Coke, in one scene he's eating Reese's, and then one scene he's drinking Coke, and at the end of the movie, one of his powers is Coke, by giving him drinking of Coke, which is just odd, because it's a product placement. I mean, I don't mind product placement in a film, but as long as you work it in with the story, like the Lego movie did, work it in with the story and don't show that many advertisements. So overall, Mac and Me is a big waste of time. And I don't think I want to revisit it again. Like I said, it's not the worst, but it's just dull. And when it's dull, it's kind of unpleasant. So I give Mac and Me a 3 out of 10. I mean, like I said, I did like a couple of the songs, and I'm sure the kids, the little boy that was acting in the film was trying, but it just doesn't work. I mean, maybe if this was like a parody of E.T. and it was trying to be a big sellout, I could probably forgive it a little more. And it probably would have gotten a better reception, but as a feature-length film that's trying to be a kids movie, it just doesn't need to exist. I mean, Mac and Me is a big waste of time, and I don't recommend it for anybody unless you want to treat it as like a so bad, unless you want to treat it as like a so bad it's good movie like it has been over the years. Though that's just me. So, Mac and Me is done. Glad it's over with. What's the worst 80s movie you've seen? Comment below, let me know. And then for next time, I think it's about time I start with Illumination Month. See you guys. This is LTM signing out, and I'll see you guys next time.
Dad, can I go play too? Can I?
I would feel better if you go play over on the sponge beds.